well. What I wanted to do today was to talk about finding your voice. This video could be seen as a continuation of my last video, eliminating misunderstandings and miscommunication from our lives. What I've found over the last couple of months is there's been a massive amount of change in how I function, how I speak, how I communicate, and it's been echoed around me by the people that I speak to on a regular basis, people who attend meetings, and just generally people I speak to. What's been really interesting is there's been several topics that have been coming up, and one of them that's been coming up has been about communicating effectively and really about finding our voice as well. Because I think sometimes what can happen is that we really want to say something, we really want to express something, and maybe because we don't have the adequate tools, or maybe because of fear, and predominantly most times it is really about fear, we don't really communicate what we really want to communicate. And this was something that happened to me over the years, where I'd want to post things or I'd want to write things, but I wasn't quite sure how it would be taken. And it led to the situation where my work grew slowly but surely, but I wasn't really being true to myself and really saying what I really wanted to. And that's a situation that's been coming into sharp focus recently, and it's something that I've been talking to people in the group about as well. And I've found, in a sense, almost like an opening now starting to happen in my communication, where I'm really starting to enjoy what I'm speaking about. I'm really starting to enjoy that exploration as to what this reality is that we're all pointing at. And it's bringing up a lot of joy, it's bringing up a lot of excitement. It's also bringing up a lot for me to explore as well. And as I said, I've seen it echoed in group members as well, whereby people are now being put into situations where they're being almost gently forced, if I know that's such a contradiction, to really just open up and really express what they really want to say. And I think in this day and age, and again going on from the last video, expressing ourselves authentically and living authentically is such an important trait now to possess, because there is so much miscommunication, and it creates a situation where, say for example, in a situation of two people, it creates so many misunderstandings, it can create so many negative emotions, it can break down relationships. And really all that's really needed is just to be able to sit and just really authentically and openly say what you feel. However that may come out, it may not come out the way you wanted it, but you may find that it somehow is what's needed in that moment. And for that, we really just need to trust that if we allow ourselves to really just speak openly, that over time we will find our voice, we will find our way of communicating. You know, I for years, while talking, so used to go on about how, you know, one day when I grew up I'd be like a lot of these teachers that I'm seeing on YouTube. And that was changed a couple of months ago when people started just contacting me and saying, look, we really like how you express this. And at first I was just like, oh my God, really? Wow. You know, there's got to be a joke in here somewhere. But what it's done is it's really allowed me to kind of really fall back on who I actually am, and to really just allow myself to express how I want. It's not something that's kind of completely, fully formed, but I'm enjoying this journey of slowly but surely starting to communicate, you know, and really opening up and finding how different mediums. So for example, when I'm recording videos for my YouTube channel, I find that I'm probably not as open as I possibly could be when I'm, say for example, when I'm in a meeting where I'm really playing and really in the moment, or say for example if I'm doing a live stream on any of my social media. And it all brings up questions, and it all brings up an exploration of, oh okay, why does it happen like this on this particular platform? Why does it happen like this on a different platform? You know, I remember, got about 2 or 3 talks back, somebody pulled out a voice recorder and started recording, and I immediately found that my communication switched to almost take in that recorder and the fact that people would hear this recording. And even though there was a couple of people in the room, I started speaking as if I was speaking to a much bigger crowd. And again, I did a live stream and I found myself being really quite playful on there as well. And I'm finding that what's happening is I'm finding my expression, my voice as to how I will communicate. But what I'm also finding is other areas of my life are opening up as well, because now that I'm starting to speak from a place of authenticity and really saying what I mean, it's incredible how things are opening up. And yet when I was worried about what people thought, I didn't want to cause offense. What I found was situations in which I should have just openly and freely spoken up. It just got really bad. Just got really bad and pretty crazy. So for example, like in this situation now, I'm aware of the sensations in my body. I'm aware of how I'm feeling and thinking, oh my God, I'm recording this video and I hope it's right. And that's okay. It's okay to have those feelings, it's okay to know that, look, maybe this ain't the most perfect of recordings, but that's okay. We're all, a work in progress, so to speak. And it's okay when you've got these ideas and you believe you're going to communicate a certain way and something else completely comes out, because in that trusting we may find that what's come out is what was actually needed at that moment in time. So yeah, there has been a lot of conversation about really speaking authentically and openly and really saying what we want to say, because it does eradicate miscommunication. It does allow us to prevent misunderstandings. It also allows us to see more of who we actually are as well, because then we start seeing, as we start speaking authentically and openly, what the reaction is in the world. We're changed by that, and we start discovering more and more of who we actually are. That requires trusting, and it also requires, and trusting seems to be going hand in hand with patience in a lot of what I'm saying, of allowing the process to go the way it wants to go. It's okay to record a video and take some time warming up, so to speak, before you really kind of start feeling, comfortable, as opposed to, oh my God, I've got to sound this way. Or if we're talking to someone and the conversation really isn't going anywhere, to trust that and have patience that maybe there may be a resolution. There was a beautiful example of that. I did a talk a while ago, and one of the attendees was with me after the talk, and we went for a meal. And what was really interesting was on the way back, we were having this conversation. I made this comment. It was almost a throwaway comment, and what it resulted in was just this complete opening of him saying, oh my God, I do that as well. And I was like, oh my God. And I started asking questions, and I was getting answers in the affirmative, and I was like, wow, I'm literally meeting myself in another form. And that was amazing, because he became aware of his patterns, and I could see how I may appear to people. I could see how I communicate, how I am. And then there wasn't really a need to try and analyze or anything, but I've noticed that since that conversation, a lot of things are actually changing. And there seems to be more of an interaction now with the world. I was watching a podcast yesterday. It was a business podcast, and somebody told me about it, so I thought, okay, why not? And it was an interview with the founder of Deliveroo. And I'm watching this, and midway through it, I was just like, whoa, this just makes perfect sense to me. And I found that in the moment and in conversations that I have, so much is being extrapolated from this moment now. And it's really just showing me who I actually am. And that is, in a sense, opening me up and opening up how I communicate. And like I said, I know I'm a work in progress. We're not looking at the fully formed article. However, it's a real joy, and I'm really enjoying the journey of how to communicate. And it's been interesting because there has been a movement towards these kind of videos on communication and speaking openly. And I've noticed the last 2-3 videos, I was using a microphone, and all of a sudden the microphone stopped working as well. So sometimes what can happen is, as we're coming out, the communication isn't as clear and it doesn't reach the people it needs to. So life kind of gives you that time to, in a sense, play, to experiment as well. And today, as I was recording, I was like, okay, I won't record that way, I'll record another way just to see what happens. And again, that's very similar to when we're finding our voice. We can experiment, we can look at different ways of and different avenues of getting our point across. So it's an exciting time, and I expect myself, no doubt, to get clearer, to really start talking about different topics as well. But I'm enjoying what's happening here, and I'm enjoying what's happening around me and the kind of conversations that are occurring around me. What I've taken from it, and I think this is something that's really worth noting, is that wherever we go, we only ever really meet ourselves. So whatever situation we are in, we will just attract those kind of people. And what we'll find is that we can find our voice there. We can, by seeing the other as us, or seeing the other as a mirror, start seeing how we function or how we're portrayed, and really look into that mirror. And to me, that's really exciting, because it's an area that no doubt I'll probably look into. It's also because of situations and circumstances in my life as well. It seems to be bringing a lot more structure into what I'm doing as well. And I think maybe that's where the communication side of it is starting to get emphasized. And a real want and a real desire to really speak about this and really speak openly about this, and to really get an interaction going so that we can come together and really discuss these topics, these ideas of realization as to why we seek and why we do what we do, and what is the benefit of seeking, or what is this thing called consciousness? How do we express this? How do we realize this in our lives? So it's bringing up a lot of questions, which no doubt, life being the way it is, will be answered. And I'm enjoying meeting newer people. I'm enjoying different variations of the one reality, different kind of communications as well, because it shows me there's just such an expanse of communication. So finding your voice is finding yourself as authentically as possible, and that authenticity and that finding of your voice is something that just goes on, and we become clearer and we become subtler, and what we find is there's more clarity. And what that does is it does eradicate a lot of the miscommunication that happens to us on a daily basis, or how we speak. So, and it allows us really to meet each other authentically, as opposed to with our masks, or believing that we have to communicate or meet each other in a certain way, because guess what, this is what's expected. I'm a guy recording YouTube videos, and I'm seen as a bit of a teacher, so I've got to act a certain way. Maybe if we can put that down and really just meet without need for faces, without need for images, we may find that the other is us, and we are missing these opportunities at every instant to know ourselves. Because as I said, when I made that one comment, it opened up an entire conversation where I could see that this person I'm speaking to is exactly like me, has the same taste, the same hopes, fears and aspirations, and that really did help me as well, and it's led to this video. So in meeting the other, we are in fact meeting ourselves, and if we can allow ourselves to meet, we can allow ourselves to speak openly and speak freely, and to really bring up whatever we feel is our fears or our hopes. And what I'm finding is a lot of people do avoid these conversations because they think, oh my god, they're going to be really hard and I don't know how I'm going to react to this, or what have you. You may find that if we meet authentically, that conversation may not be as terrifying as we believe it to be. So I hope that has offered some pointers on speaking more openly and clearly. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you are enjoying the videos, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you're notified as well, because I'm still getting people saying, look, we're not getting notifications when a video premieres or what have you. And please do keep writing in with ideas for videos, as well as any questions, because I really would like a situation now where we're really speaking openly about this topic of self-realization and what it is about. I've found over the last couple of months, I'm seeing that there are other aspects to my life now, and there are areas that I want to explore, but consequently what I'm finding is it's really helping me here as well, because it's showing me that life is multifaceted. When we get so obsessed about seeking, and we get so focused on it, we can sometimes lose a lot. And really it's about taking a much more holistic approach. It's taking a much more open approach and seeing that there are other aspects of our reality as well that need to be attended to as well. But again, that's something no doubt I'll pick up on in another video, but it's another direction as well. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day wherever you are.